Hello YouTube. So we've got here our new parts washer. I got this from work, and really I could get as many of these barrels as I would like to get. My boss actually has to pay the scrap guy $1 a piece to take them. Imagine that. But yeah, we got ourselves a nice 55-gallon steel drum here, and that's going to be filled about halfway full with solvent, and we're probably just going to end up using gasoline because the gasoline will pretty much strip everything. It'll strip the paint. I've pondered about this, and I really kind of, since I have the 13-inch lathe going right now and I've got the little 9-inch lathe going, I've got a little bit of extra time, so I'm pretty well set on going ahead and giving this Monarch here a fresh coat of paint. I've also got a hold of this, and we'll bring the camera in a little bit closer to show you what that's about. So, through my searches online and through some the help of the wonderful folks over at Practical Machinist, and if you're into antique machinery and the like, you ought to head over to Practical Machinist and check out the Antique Machinery and History subforum. But anyhow, thanks to some of the good folks over there, I now have this, well, the closest thing we can call to a manual. And it's about 50 pages. I printed it out. You see the home of Monarch lathes. Back when they used to have photos of their factories. They're commonplace at the time. Guarantee. Satisfaction guarantee. Unpacking. So, pretty much this is what you would have got with your brand new Monarch lathe. And there's lots of good, useful information in here. So anyhow, instructions on installation, lubrication, and that's kind of funny. Really vague. You know, and no ISO or weights or anything. Pretty much, if you can pause it if you want to read that, but pretty much just says, we trust that you'll use some good oil on it. And some tips on threading and all that. Pretty basic. How to use the thread dial. Taper turning, kind of little crash course. This I thought was kind of interesting. And you can pause that if you want to read that. It's dated. It's pretty dated. So some of it's not relevant anymore, but there's a lot of good things in there. Talking about the taper attachment, collet attachment. This is something I really kind of wish I had one of those. Would be really handy for doing little washers and thin pieces like that, you know. I find a lot of times that I will have to go ahead and drill out a washer or something like that to make it work for what I'm using it for. Talking about their Hyatt roller bearing counter shaft. Ooh, good technology at the time. This would be really interesting to have. And you know, there's still some tooling for this machine at the lady's house from whom I acquired it. So I may have some of this stuff. I don't know. Carriage turrets that were available. Diameter stops, bed turrets. You know, the condition of the original was not in the best shape, so And there is the much coveted relieving attachment. Ho ho. How nice it would be to have that relieving attachment. And like I said, it may exist at that lady's garage. And there's more on that. Some of the other fairly standard accessories that we would see at that time. So, here's a really nice thing to have. We actually have a parts list for this machine now. And believe it or not, Monarch says that they have all the drawings going back for all their lathes. Excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold. Back to the beginning. So, I can use, if I needed a part, I could use this parts list. I could call up Monarch and actually have them make that part for me, or if they have it in stock, send it over. It would probably cost a fortune to have that done. But anyhow, so we've got our parts list here. And you know what? This is kind of handy too, just figuring out what's going on inside the machine without taking it apart. For example, it's kind of interesting that the apron, it doesn't have a worm in the apron. It's all done through bevel gears. So, kind of an older design. And then, you know, of course, we have all of our counter shaft info here. Rabbit, if you eat my toolbox, I'm kicking your ass. Sorry about that. Anyhow, so it's kind of, and it shows the original style of the counter shaft hangers that they were using at the time. Here's our geared head parts. Lots of other info. Tables on the speeds that things should run at. Now here, and we'll go over to, now the nice thing about this too is you get a hold of this catalog. If you have a different size lathe, if you have a geared head, got all that information there. So 10 and 12 Conehead. I'll tell you what this is about in a moment here. Here we go. 14 and 16 Conehead. That's our lathe. So what this is all of the information that you need for laying out and putting the foundation bolts in, for putting your counter shaft up and everything. And the really handy thing about this too is I've got the diameters and the widths of the clutch pulleys that would have went on the counter shaft with the, went on the counter shaft with this machine. So that's a really nice thing to have. And with that, of course, you know, I can go ahead and track some of those parts down or fabricate the parts to build the counter shaft up and have this thing run on the line again. Thankfully, I have the cone pulley. Probably would be the hardest thing to find, a matching cone pulley. I've got hangers, which aren't the same style, but they will work just the same, and actually are a bit prettier. And you may have seen those in a previous video. And so really, all I need is a couple of bearings, a shaft, and 2 clutch pulleys, and then the associated gear to engage and disengage those clutches. So that would be a shipper rod and a I'm not sure what they call the little sliding piece that goes in the middle of that, but anyways. So yeah, there's all that, and we're not going to go through all 50 pages here, but you know, all the relevant information that you need to set the machine up. and this is available online with a little bit of searching. I don't know if anybody else needs it. If somebody else needs a copy of this, I guess go in the comments and let me know, and I'll see about getting you a copy of it, or getting you a link to a copy of it so you can print one out. I need to punch this and get it in a binder. So anyways, there's that. Real nice to have. Now I'll give you a little update on the lathe itself. But first I want to tell you a little bit about this drum. This is a really nice drum to have. Probably could not find a better drum than this. And the reason for that is, okay, so this was full of silicone that we use for casting various silicone parts for machinery. You know, silicone rollers and bumpers and all manners of things are made out of silicone rubber. The beauty of these drums is, first off, you got this lovely lever actuated ring on here that seals it together, which is a lot better. You'll see these that you just have a bolt that pinches that together. So it's really nice to have the lever. So you can take it off and put it on. But you look inside of it, and that thing is clean as a whistle. It's like a brand new drum. I don't know if you could see down. You see down in the bottom there. There is not anything inside of here, and the reason for that is when these come in full of silicone, there's actually a big plastic liner that's inside of here, and a big giant shower cap looking piece of plastic that goes over the lid, or that goes over and then the lid goes on. So these are completely lined, and so when they're done, you're left with this really nice clean barrel. I mean, and even at that, it's only ever had silicone in it. I mean, this is like a food grade barrel right here. You could actually store food or whatever you wanted to in this barrel, no problem. But like I said, we're going to be filling it about half full with solvent, and of course it's large enough that I can get any part, practically any part of the lathe except for the bed. I can even get the legs in here if I want to, and strip them off. So we'll go ahead and put that back on. And it seals right up just like that. Simple. So as you can see, I've removed my gearbox, and that's actually pretty simple to do. It's not too heavy, which is nice. I didn't have to like hook it up to an engine lift to get it off, you know, but it definitely has some weight to it, make no mistake. And now we can get a look inside and just see the condition of things, and you know, everything looks really good actually. I can turn this and everything turns very freely. Everything shifts now, but as you can see, we've got a lot of chips and gunk inside of here. You know, we got a bunch up on the lever here that really shouldn't be up in there. So we're gonna go ahead and get this put in the tank here. That'll probably be the first thing to go in the tank. We're gonna put it right in whole and get all the crap out of there, and then we'll probably disassemble it and clean everything individually and put it back together and get nice fresh lubricant in there, and it ought to be good for another 100 years. Like I said, only 4 bolts hold this thing on, and you don't even have to worry about disconnecting a lead screw or anything from it, because this little gear, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Yeah, you can see that. This little gear here just engages with the gears over there on the end of the lead screw and the feed rod. The feed rod gear, I've knocked the taper pin off of it and taken that gear off, and that'll all be coming off pretty soon. Additionally, I've also removed my compound and my cross slide. Here's the jib for the cross slide, and you could see we still got a significant amount of hand scraping left on it, which is it's really nice to see. We've also got a bunch of scraping left up. You know, that's actually beyond scraping. That's frosting right there on the bottom of our compound. You know, it's worn off here where the compound actually bears against the machine. However, there really is very, very little wear there. So you also notice that I believe this is a later modification, but somebody's gone along and cut these oil grooves in there, and they've placed ball oilers. And here's the bottom side of those ball oilers where there's some felts in there to help further filter anything that might get in there. To be honest with you too, I'm really not a fan of ball oilers. I kind of just hate them with a passion. It seems like you can never get enough oil really in there, and I'm sure if you had the right oil gun, you know, it wouldn't be so much of an issue. Just force a little oil in there. But I've never had one, and you know, I don't have any at work, and I hate those freaking ball oilers. I really do. Anyhow, that's about where we are with regards to the lathe right now. And yeah, I'll try to keep y'all posted as to how this goes. And maybe I'll get some disassembly footage in there. And I hope you guys are liking the new tripod. It's not really a new tripod. I've had the thing for years. I just needed to cobble together a mount for it so I can get the camera on there. So anyhow, if you like these videos, please do like them. If you have any questions or comments, well, there's a place for that, you know. And by all means, I try to answer questions and comments as much as I can. You know, occasionally I'll miss something, or I'll mean to get back to it, and then I don't end up getting back to it. But you know, be a little persistent. Of course, you can always do your own research. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, please do subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful day.